is Miss Brianne, and welcome back to another meeting of our sensory friends. And this is the once a month program where we meet where early elementary students meet once a month during the school year in order to learn how to create all these types of fun sensory items for you to play with in order to relax and have fun. And as of right now, we're doing this virtually. Hopefully one of these days we'll be meeting live again so we can do these sensory crafts together. But until then, just feel free to join us at the Westhampton Free Virtual Library for this program as well as other programs that myself and the other children's librarians here have to offer. Now, as you know, we are in the month of April. And what season do we think of when we think of April? Well, if you think of the season of spring, you are correct. And we are currently in the season of spring. And right now the weather is tends to fluctuate a little bit. One day it's nice and warm and sunny, the other day it's cold, or it's rainy, or it's windy. Spring can't seem to make up its mind. But did you know that spring is when all the nice plants start to grow? And people start growing gardens in the spring. Cool, huh? Well, when you think of spring, what type of colors do you think about when you think of spring? Well, I'm thinking like pretty pastel light colors like pinks and yellows and light blue and light purple and light green. Those are colors I think about when I think of the season of spring. And today I'm going to show you a nice fun little slime type activity that uses those colors of spring. But before we do that, I'm going to read a nice little book. It's not really spring focused, but people start to grow gardens in spring, right? So I thought a nice little garden book. And it's based on everybody's favorite character, Peppa Pig. And we have Peppa Pig in the story, Peppa Pig and the Vegetable Garden. So, Peppa Pig and the Vegetable Garden. Now, it's based on the TV series Peppa Pig, which was created by Neville Astley and Mark Baker. And it's produced by Astley Baker Davies Ltd, Entertainment One U.K. Ltd, and Entertainment One U.K. Ltd. The book itself was published by Candlewick Entertainment, which was an imprint of Candlewick Press. So, are we ready? Alright, here we go. Peppa Pig and her little brother George are playing at Grandpa Pig and Granny Pig's house. They love to help Grandpa Pig in the garden. Look what they're doing. What do you think they're getting from the garden? What do you think that looks like that Grandpa Pig is holding? Probably lettuce, right? Well, let's move on to find out what happens. What are you doing, Grandpa Pig? asks Peppa. I'm planting seeds. So look, he's putting the seeds in the ground right over here. What happens to the seeds? They grow into plants. I make a small hole in the ground, put the seed inside, and cover it with earth. Then I water it. Everything in my garden grows from seeds like this. So who's planted seeds before? Isn't it fun? You dig a hole in the dirt, put the seeds in, and then cover it up and water it. And then a plant grows right before your very eyes. Isn't that cool? Well, let's see what happens. Boink! Uh-oh! It looks like an apple fell on Grandpa Pig. Ooh, that must have hurt, didn't it? Probably. Ouch! Says Grandpa Pig. An apple fell on his head. Peppa and George laugh. Grandpa laughs too. Look, he says, inside this apple are more seeds to grow more apple trees. To grow more apple trees, says Peppa. So some fruits have seeds in it that you can plant as well. Cool, huh? I want to plant a seed, Peppa says. She makes a little hole and puts the seed in it. Then she covers the seed with earth. Grandpa lets her water it. Now we wait for it to grow, he says. So it looks like Peppa planted her very own seed. Great, huh? Do you think Peppa thinks it will grow right away? What do you think, boys and girls? Well, let's see. Peppa waits. George waits. They wait. And wait. And wait. It's not doing anything, says Peppa. Grandpa Pig laughs. You have to be patient. Ah! What's this? Says Peppa. It's a monster! Monster! Says George. What do you think this is, boys and girls? Is that really a monster? What do you think it is? Probably looks like a snail, doesn't it, boys and girls? Well, let's see. Grandpa laughs. It's just a little snail. Grrr, says George. Monster! He likes the snail. Let's play snails, says Peppa. Grandpa Pig finds some baskets for Peppa and George, and they play snails in the garden. Cool, huh? Look, says Peppa, a butterfly. Why do butterflies like flowers? They drink from flowers, says Grandpa Pig. They drink the flower's nectar. It's their food. Look at me! I'm playing butterfly! Peppa shouts. George wants to be a butterfly too. No, George, I am a butterfly. You can play worm. George doesn't want to play worm. Come on, George, says Grandpa Pig. Playing worm is fun. Grandpa Pig shows George how to lie on the ground and wiggle. Soon, Peppa wants to play worm too. So we're seeing a lot of night creatures in this, like snails and butterflies, and even sometimes even earthworms. Has anybody ever seen snails or butterflies? Probably seen butterflies a lot, huh? Has anybody ever seen snails? Yeah, maybe not. I've never really seen many snails as a kid, but when I was a grown-up living in my first apartment, there were snails all over the place, and they were in abundance in the spring. And most of you have probably seen earthworms, especially in rainy weather, huh? Well, let's see what else happens. Will Peppa's plants grow? Well, let's see what happens. Grandpa plants some more seeds. He drops them on the ground. But when he turns around, a little bird is eating them. Shoo! Shoo! Says Grandpa. Birds like seeds. You gotta be very careful when you plant them because the birds will try and eat them. Granny Pig comes to see. "We need a scarecrow," she says. Grandpa Pig brings Peppa and George to his garden shed. "We'll find lots of things in here to make a scarecrow with," he says. Now, a scarecrow is something that scares away birds. I never really knew the science of it, so boys and girls, don't ask me how it works. He finds sticks, string, some straw, and an old sack. They build the scarecrow. They dress it in some old clothes. Peppa and George paint a face. The birds probably think it's a real person, and birds don't really like to be around people. So that's probably why the scarecrows exist. The birds see the scarecrow. They stop eating Grandpa's seeds. The birds look sad. "The birds look sad," says Peppa. "They must be hungry." Granny Pig brings out a bird feeder. "Lunchtime, birds," she calls. So Granny Pig is feeding the birds real bird seed. They're probably happy now, aren't they? Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig have come. Granny Pig needs blackberries to make a pie for lunch. Everybody wants to help. "This blackberry bush has been here since I was a little girl," says Mummy Pig. So now they're getting blackberries. Isn't that fun? Has anybody ever picked blackberries from a bush, or strawberries, or any other type of berry? It's fun, ain't it? Well, let's see what happens. Mummy Pig climbs the ladder to get to the berries at the top. "Oh no!" Mummy Pig falls into the bush. "Where is she?" Mummy Pig is okay, but she looks like a berry bush. Peppa and George pick berries from the mummy bush. Grandpa Pig, Peppa, and George finish picking vegetables for lunch. Ooh, yummy. Vegetables from the garden, huh? Have any of you boys and girls had fresh vegetables from the garden? They taste very good. I used to have fresh vegetables from my grandpa's garden when I was your age. And they tasted delicious. To make a salad, Granny Pig cuts up a cucumber. "I love cucumbers," says Peppa. "Yuck," says George. He doesn't like salad. Grandpa has an idea. He gives George a new plate. "Dinosaur," says George. He eats the salad. He likes it. That's one way to get your little brothers and sisters to eat. Make it into something they like. He loves Granny Pig's blackberry pie too. Yum! And that is the end of the story. And look, it looks like Peppa and George's plants finally grew. Cool, huh? Wasn't that a great story? Does it make you want to think, does it make you think about planting a garden of your own someday? Well, planting a garden is a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work. So, if you do decide to plant a garden, if you ask your mom and dad if it's okay and they say it is, make sure you work hard at it or else your plants won't grow. But this is a great story. I hope you enjoyed it, boys and girls, and I hope it makes you think about spring and all the flowers and plants. But anyway, good story. I hope you enjoyed it. But now let's move on from the book to our fun activity. For today's activity, I am going to teach you how to make springtime floam. And what that is, it's a type of foam or a type of slime that has mini foam beads in it. It makes for a very interesting experience when playing with it. Now, sadly, I don't have a sample for you. I didn't have the chance to make it. So we're going to make this together. Does that sound like fun? Now, if you've been to my Sensory Friends programs, we made a variety of different slimes. We've made basic slime, we've made clear slime, we've made glitter slime. In fact, last year, we made shamrock slime for St. Patrick's Day. Well, we're going to do a basic clear slime, but we're going to add something else to it. So, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need some type of bowl. I'm using a paper bowl. A plastic spoon to mix. You need a 1 cup measuring cup, but we don't have one here, so I'm using a half a cup. And I'm just going to use it twice. And you also need 1 tablespoon measuring spoon. We don't have it here at the library. I'm going to use a 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoon and work it out. So, are we ready? Oh, you're also going to need some clear glue. And you should have gotten the glue, clear glue, some baking soda, and some contact lens solution. Now, you should have gotten the glue, the baking soda, and the contact lens solution in your kits when you registered. Oh, and you're also going to need foam beads, which you should also be getting when you register as well. But you're going to need to provide the food coloring, your measuring equipment, the bowl, and the plastic spoon. So, are we ready to begin? Alright, here we go. So, first you're going to need to take 1 cup of clear glue. So, since I have a half a cup, I'm going to do this twice. I'm going to put a half a cup in. So we got a half a cup in, and we're going to pour another half a cup in. And a half a cup plus a half a cup makes 1 cup. Alright, so I'm going to throw this in the sink real quick. I don't need this anymore. Alright, so now that we have our glue in, let me zoom this a little bit so you can see. Alright, so now that we have our glue, I'm going to add a few drops of pastel food coloring. I am using pink. So I'm going to add some food coloring, then I'm going to take my spoon and mix it in. May have put a little too much in, but it looks like it's a nice pinkish color. Probably should have put a little bit less. Probably try 1 drop, boys and girls, and if you want a deeper color, add more. There we go. So now that we mixed in our color, next up we are going to measure. We're going to measure, let me grab another bowl really quick so I'm not making a mess. So we're going to measure 1 tablespoon of baking soda. I'm going to put 1/4 teaspoon in 12 times because that's all we have. So, two, three. If you do 1/4 teaspoon 4 times, it makes one teaspoon, and if you do 3 teaspoons, it makes a tablespoon. So I got 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably need a little bit more baking soda. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So once I get that, I'm going to mix it in a little bit to incorporate it. Or else it turns into a huge, it looks weird when you start mixing in the contact lens solution. Alright, so now it's mixed in. Now we're going to put in our contact lens solution. And again, we're going to do this 12 times because we need a tablespoon at a time. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, so now we got our contact lens solution and we're going to mix it together to get our slime. So we start with a spoon. Now I'm going to remove the extra paper bowl from here because I want to put my slime in it when I'm finished mixing it. But we start with the spoon, and when it starts to gel up, so start mixing it. So once it starts to come together, then we're going to pick it up and start using our hands to finish mixing it. Now it's going to be very, very sticky at first. So what you do is you check the consistency to see how you like it. If it's too sticky for you, you can always add another tablespoon of contact lens solution. It takes about 1 to 3 tablespoons to form the slime. However, be very careful. Make sure you knead it a little bit before you do that, because if you put too much activator in, like the contact lens solution, it will get extremely stiff and it's not quite as stretchy. But the more you play with it, the less sticky it gets. So you're just going to keep playing with it, boys and girls. See, and it's getting less sticky the more I play with it. So I'm just going to knead a little bit more off camera. like I said, usually 1 tablespoon of the contact lens will do it. You could put in another if you like, but like I said, the more you put in, the more stiff it becomes, and then it's not quite as stretchy. Alright, so now that it's this plate. So now that we have our slime, I'm going to throw it in the other bowl. And this makes a lot of slime, 1 cup of glue. Sorry, it does tend to get sticky. After a while it becomes less sticky, so I apologize. So I'm going to put this aside. Here's our clear glue slime. Get some of the pieces off. Sorry if I'm a bit of a mess. Alright, so throw that in. Let me wash up real quick. Sorry about that. Alright, sorry about that. But now that we have our clear glue slime, we're going to take our foam beads and we are going to add them to the slime. Like so. Let's see how much that does. And you can add as much or as little of the beads as you want. So I'm just putting in as much of these as I can because I like a lot of foam beads. What I probably should have done is mix the beads in before I put the activator in. So I'm just putting them in. And try and put as much of these beads as you can. But there you have it. This is nice springtime Floam for you to play with. Nice, interesting texture, huh, boys and girls? Well, here's the Floam. I certainly hope you had a good time making it. I certainly had fun making it with you. Let me put a little bit more of these foam beads in. There we go. So make sure you use a bigger bowl for the slime. But anyway, there's the springtime flow. I hope you enjoyed making it. I certainly had a good time making it with you boys and girls. I look forward to seeing you next month. But until then, please check out all the other great programs that myself and the other children's librarians here to offer here at the library. But until then, this is Miss Brianne saying take good care of yourselves. Have a great day, and I will see you next month.